Greg Weiss.
And we are good dudes with bad hearts.
No, literally. Our hearts are broken.
I have heart failure.
And I have a transplant.
We never thought we'd have heart problems.
But we do.
And they're real.
And they suck. And that's why we're here.
To talk to you about heart failure,
heart attacks, and everything that comes with these conditions.
Each week we will bring you an episode featuring guests with heart issues.
We're talking about doctors and health professionals.
And we're talking about everyday people.
Like you and I. Together, we'll share useful information.
Providing useful lifestyle tips.
And how to prepare heart-healthy meals.
We'll tell our stories and hopefully make your hearts
better.
Welcome to Change of Heart.
Welcome back to yet another episode of Change of Heart podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Gethers, and my co-host is
Greg Weiss. Glad to be here. Glad to be back. We're going to have another exciting filled episode with Randall Martin,
welcome back, Randall Martin,
previous guest, and Randall always has a lot to talk about that's on point, and you're going to learn a lot from his experiences, and we can't wait to jump in. Anthony, get us started.
All right, so let's talk about this. Randall reached out to me a couple of days ago, and he wanted to do his Let's Do It Again episode. We interviewed Randall for episode 2 out of our Change of Heart. So, of course, Randall was very entertaining, very informative. He's obviously had some insights inspired by me getting back into the gym and feeling good about myself. So, Randall, tell me what inspired the Let's Do It Again.
Well, this is great because it's a crossover episode, because while we're doing this here, I'm actually going to air this episode on the air on my radio program. So I'm going to say hello to all WGXC listeners. And I am now a guest on Change of Heart, but because of our conversations, I wanted to include them in my radio program because they're so vital. And so your podcast, for those who didn't see the interview that I had with you guys earlier, is a podcast that really centers on men's health and men that have specifically have had challenges and heart issues, and now are changing their lifestyles in order to work with the new reality of what it's like to live if you've got a heart failure or a coronary heart disease, whatever. And I'm really glad to be back on the show, because I did call you the other day because I just had another doctor's appointment. And my doctor's talking about my cholesterol, and she's talking about, a bunch of other things about my health, and my cholesterol has gone down, and I'm doing other things, but she really wanted more. She really wanted me to go down even more. And it made me think about how zealous I was when I was first told that if I didn't change my diet and other eating habits and maybe add even more exercise than I do, that I could have health consequences. And I was gung-ho. That first couple of weeks, I was like, oh yeah, absolutely, I'm going to eat. And I was watching what I ate, and every meal, I was very hyper conscious. And I noticed over the time, especially over the holidays, I then started to become less so. And I would make justifications like, well, I'm only going to have this. I'm going to have a cheat day here. And generally, it started.
For the holidays, we always give ourselves an excuse for the holidays.
Right.
All the time.
And the cold weather, too.
And cold weather, of course, forces the body to get naturally insulated. Yes.
Yep. And I hurt my shoulder, so I wasn't in the gym for about a month and a half. And so I was called Anthony because.
How'd you hurt your shoulder?
I was actually playing drums, and I
moved. Wait. No, don't move on. Wait, let me hear this first. You hurt your shoulder playing your instrument? That's like Greg and I saying we hurt our hands from playing bass.
No, well, double jointed my pinky.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what the hell are you doing?
And I was playing, and in the middle of a song, instead of the band singer had decided to end it, and I was doing one thing, and I just quickly turned to do another thing, and it tweaked my shoulder, and I felt it immediately. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, this is odd, but it hurt. And at our age, we have learned that you can do relatively simple, non-strenuous exercise, but move the wrong way, and your body tells you you've made a mistake.
Mhm.
And
Greg, I think that actually that translates to the singer turned around and threw a 5-pound kettlebell at his shoulder.
and he ducked.
And he died.
right, I 5 millimeters. But yeah, so that kept me out of the gym. But I started to think I finally got back in the gym, but there was so much procrastination, and I was just thinking like, how do I get that feeling of just do it again? Just get back into the routine that you initially had so that you stay healthy, and don't just take the one-time recommendation of the doctor and think, well, this is serious. But once you then sort of justify your situation, it's very easy for you to slide into your old ways, and your body doesn't care. Your body doesn't care about your excuses or your procrastination. It's going to react. And if you got too much cholesterol, or you're not doing the things that you should be doing, or overstressing your heart, your body's just going to shut down and do what it does. So I wanted to come back on and really talk about how to encourage people, especially during the holidays, to really be vigilant and make these consistent changes, and not to justify bad eating habits, especially because you will pay the price.
Mhm.
So that's the message that I wanted to give, especially the message for the holidays. We're all busy doing so much stuff, but if you mess up your health, then all the other stuff that you're doing doesn't matter, especially in when you're dealing with your heart. Now,
Okay.
the only one. Have you guys backslidden, or am I the only one?
No,
Well-
I think at some point we all kind of backslide. But at the end of the day, it's what do you do to come back out of that? That's
I was talking
Greg,
to you during Pizzagate when you were.
I bought the slice from my mother. I did not have the pizza. Just so you
He
know,
called me for support while he was at a pizza parlor.
I
and he
did.
was trying to
Yeah,
make-
and he stuck in some Entenmann's, some donuts, I heard.
He was trying to eat healthy. He bought a pizza for his mother. His mother wanted a pepperoni slice or something, and you were sitting there debating on what you were going to get.
I was debating on getting Sicilian with meatballs and sausage.
There you go.
Walked him down, and he made a healthy choice. But sometimes we need that. We need that encouragement, because we're going to fall back into the natural patterns that we've developed over all these years.
Well,
Yes.
I'm gonna start with hearing about your doctor's experience. And one of the things that I don't want to say be a victim of, but be accustomed to, is they have numbers. It's not so much what your numbers were, but what general numbers are from being tested, and where, the consensus of where people's cholesterol numbers fall. And I always hear that my cholesterol is high. And sometimes, I get zealous about what I'm going to eat. Sometimes I fall back, but I had heard this last time from my team, was that, your numbers are getting better. And I'm looking at my numbers and I'm going, well, they're not getting worse. And
Right.
What they're not going to tell you is they always want you to do better. They always want you to keep that push on. And I'm hearing that echo when you talk about, well, you did good, but we could do better. And sometimes you got to let off that throttle, because, for all the exuberance you had going forward, what happens is your body might hit that wall and say, well, that's enough for now. And you ate all the tofu and broccoli that was in the field.
I don't think it's your body I think it's your mind. I think that we justify.
Okay.
We've
It is
done
your mind. It's your mind first. It's your mind. It's mind first, then your body follows afterwards. Whatever your mind tells you, whatever your mind says, and your body follows afterwards.
right.
Huh.
So if you say, it sounds to me you're saying, it sounds to me like you're still at the point. Well, like I know as an engineer, when I give a client a recommendation, right, I try to give them recommendations that I think they can follow, things that are good procedural things for them. And they'll say, well, but what we can do this and that. And the maximum, I guess, problem that they may experience is that they may have a video won't come out right, or it'll look bad, or if they're streaming, it'll buffer. Like, they're doing things that the consequences are not life altering in terms of maybe even or life ending. They're not life threatening. I guess where I'm going, but I think we should still be the same way. I think we should really listen to the doctor, because they only see the external things, of what, like you said, what their number is. But I think that if I'm going to, when you pay an expert for advice, you should take their advice. And I always think, like I said, I could cheat, I could do this, I could do this. Hey, I've been eating this way for 40 years. So what's the problem if I have more and more of this? But it's a slippery slope. And so,
yeah, but also, can I piggyback to what you're saying?
Yeah.
You have to learn, like for me, you have to learn the new version of what you are in your current status. Like I know for me, my goal is not to go past 220 as far as my weight goes.
Okay.
Keep myself at least 220 pounds. If I go over a couple of pounds, I will then offset it by either shaving off stuff from the diet or doing more in the gym. And usually within 2 days, I'm down to 219, 218, just making those simple changes. A lot of it comes down to being able to understand your body. Because most people, especially living in the Western world, they don't understand. We understand putting things into our mouth. We don't understand what those things are.
But didn't we think that we understood our bodies before our health issues? Like
we had youth. We had youth working in our favor.
But that's also the mind, because I think it's somewhere in the middle of what you're talking about, because while we say, well, we've been eating this way for years, at the same time, we don't know what the inside results are. Right. And I'm going to buffer that comment by telling you I was catheterized 5 weeks ago. It's when you become a transplant, from the first year, every 2 years after, because I just passed my second birthday of my transplant on November 20th. So earlier in the month, I had the opportunity to get catheterized again, which came out.
They put the camera like in your vein, and
yes,
then your heart, and it gives them a video.
Of
your blood flowing
in through the groin, through my heart, through my lungs, the whole. They do the. This time was
whenever you say the word groin, I literally cringe. I go,
look, it's a descriptive show. This is a reality. We all can't be blessed to get catheterized in the wrist like some of us.
I didn't know that. I feel better. I thought
catheterized in the wrist. Yep.
I didn't know that was one of the options that the doctors.
Well, it's a checkup. It's a invasive check on your heart disease, even though you get your blood tested and all these tests that go on with you. You get catheterized because they want to go in and whether I'm a guinea pig or I needed it or I didn't need it, they do it. And it was I have no heart disease, I have no rejection.
Wow.
I want to pass that on to you, because as Anthony would say, you haven't traveled down that road yet.
Yep.
And while the diet is your primary configurator of how you're feeling and your numbers, I found this out today, as a matter of fact, that my cholesterol med had been doubled, because they want me to go down further. And and I went to the pharmacy and they're like, well, you have actually two prescriptions. You have a 20 and a 40. Do you take both? And I'm going, what are you talking about? So I actually had to recall my team, and I found out, and they didn't even tell me, that my number had been doubled, and it's been that way for about 2 months. But what happens is, somewhere between the meds that I take and my diet, it's not that I have a high number, but compared to other people, it's a normal high number, but not a normal low number. And it's been that way, for a very long time for me. So as you said before, I'm just going with what I know, as opposed to, if I try harder, I'll do better.
But don't you have you had a heart transplant, right?
I have a heart half my age.
Right. So that's a whole new right. So you are starting kind of freshing in with a whole new thing. I still got my old heart.
No, it's
my model.
you're
I
blessed in
think-
many ways.
I think it's time. I think it's time we figure out a way to get rid of your old heart.
What do you mean? What are you
I don't
talking
know.
about?
Just perform some type of reconstructive surgery.
Heart traders. Well, we could just trade. Well, we could just trade it in.
Just trade it in.
Well,
like Hot Wheels back in the day. You just trade cars. You trade your heart.
just
like
to,
storage wars, you could just like get another one from somebody's storage unit.
one of the things that had helped me though, because I was getting my, as Anthony knows, I was getting my blood checked very often. And one of the things that had happened was one of my cholesterol numbers skyrocketed. And the feeling was that it was because of some of the medicines I was taking.
Okay.
And my doctor had actually prescribed for me, not an over-the-counter, but a certain formulation of fish oils. And the fish oil seriously corrected my cholesterol. And I take it daily. And I don't know if you're on that or have considered it, but
No,
as a supplement.
I do two 1,200 milligram fish oil things.
Yes.
In the evening. So, but how much?
Yeah.
What else besides the fish oil? What else do you do? I'm sorry.
The fish oil alone corrected your cholesterol issues?
It not my issues. It corrected one of the numbers that was really bad.
Okay.
And I'm gonna say I take double or triple the volume of fish oil that you take.
So you're doing like 5,000.
I would have to, if I got up for a second and checked my bottle, I could give you a more accurate number. From what I understand, most people take a pill a day, and I'm on 4 pills a day. And wherever that number goes, I'm not going to do it. It's probably the only number I don't really look at out of all the meds I take. I could spend half this interview listing what I take between antivirals, antibacterials, anti-rejection, and anti-immunity drugs. But the good news is they all pay off. And one of the things that the cocktail of medications did was it raised my blood cholesterol. And now I'm down to practically a normal number. And I'm really happy about it. And one of the things that I try and do is correct my diet from what it was before. And I talk to Anthony about this a lot. But the big culprit I had was sugars, and
Sugar is good.
when my cholesterol went up, my diabetes had gone up to a point where I was pre-diabetic to having an A1C of over 9. And they actually have specialists now in transplant cardiac diabetic endocrinology, if I can get really specific. And he put me on 2 medications, one of which is an injection once a week and the other is a pill. But my A1C fell below 6 already. So I'm pretty excited about the results. And I just think that maybe cholesterol isn't one of those instant gratification things. So you definitely have to work on it, keep aware. But I definitely corrected my diet from what I used to have on my old heart.
Well, I cut mine in half with just with the new medication and some other and some and exercise. But I am gonna do the fish oil, because I really believe I'm one of those people that really believe in natural natural cures and ingredients.
Healing through foods, healing through food nutrition.
Exactly. And so it's something that's natural, like fish oil, that you can take that can prevent any additional heart disease. I think it's very important. So I love the fact that you mentioned that. And I think people out there should, talk to the doctor and maybe look at that option because it really
You may be a fast metabolizer. They said I was.
Okay. Right. Okay.
I'm going to agree with you in one way, but I also find that most people have to learn themselves. They have to learn about who they are, because the doctor is not there 24 hours a day. The doctor knows you up to a certain point, but you have to take the initiative to do it yourself. You know, like when I had Pizzagate, that I called you.
Pepperoni isms.
You know, well, it was.
Well, let me ask this, Anthony. What would your score be in terms of both of you guys? In terms of this is what the doctors say that I should do. This is what I'm doing. What would you say? Are you doing 80%, 70%, 100%?
I'm gonna say for me, closer to 95.
Okay.
I'm pretty accurate with what because I'm afraid to go to the next level. So therefore,
What does that mean? What is it? What number are we talking about?
So he's saying, I think he said, I'm doing 95% of what the
doctor tells me
recommended you to do.
Yep, but the doctor also.
I'd give you two different numbers because there's the medication that I can't divert. That's 100%.
Right.
I don't miss my pills. I don't miss, the medications. My diet. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna admit it here. I'm gonna say 75%.
All right. Okay. Yeah. I think I'm at maybe 65% on the stuff that I can control in terms of diet and some of the choices. I still have shrimp. Like the other day, I was at Red Lobster.
Shrimp's good for you, though. But
why did you do Red Lobster? Like, if you're gonna get seafood, don't waste your calories at Red Lobster.
Yes,
go to a place,
agreed.
Go to a place that's good. Like, why would you go?
I took someone out for not me, but me and my wife. We took a friend out for her birthday, and that's where she wanted to go.
If you're gonna go to Red Lobster, eat the biscuits. At least
I eat the biscuits. But including the
biscuits. Don't go there for their seafood.
But it's not even the seafood. Everything is smothered in butter. As a matter of fact,
had a coupon. You don't go to Red Lobster unless you get a discount.
Unless you have a coupon, yes, that's the only reason why you go there.
This on the radio, so I'm not talking about my coupons. But one of the things, like I ordered New England clam chowder, right? And when I got it, I sent it back because it just tastes like chunks of chowder swimming in butter. Like I actually could not eat it. It actually tasted so unhealthy for me, and I sent it back. But everything is smothered in this butter sauce, and I was thinking, and I moderated. So I got some other things, and I moderated. And I've been eating it over. I'd had some takeout, and I'm eating it over the time. But I could sense that like my body was telling me, no, this is not good for you. So
your body was telling you a couple of things. Your body was saying, hey, don't get seafood at Red Lobster. Number one.
I believe that.
Yep. So your body was telling you, look, dude, why'd you come here? And number two, your body was saying, you should never have actually had the biscuits. You should have never had the chowder because the chowder is swimming in butter and milk.
You know, well, I ate a biscuit. I mean, I believe that because I've been eating healthy, like my body reacted, and I didn't moderate what I ate. And I said, I sent back the stuff. I skirted around some of the other stuff, but like the shrimp scampi and all that other stuff, again, you could justify that. So you'd be like, well, I'm going to have one or two or whatever, or tomorrow.
How do you justify shrimp scampi? You tell them to put one shrimp inside your scampi, just one.
They can be generous.
Right. I got to defend shrimp. I'm going to defend shrimp right here, right now. Shrimp is good for you. Shrimp is good for you. The cholesterol in the shrimp is good for you. The reason why shrimp is really good for you is that it is loaded with iron. And one of the advocates,
iron and the omega-3s.
And the purine. Purine is gives you gout.
Mm-hmm.
What gives you gout?
What gives you gout?
Purine. Shrimp has purine, and if you eat a bunch of it, you'll get your toes swell up or whatever.
I'm not 3 times a day having shrimp. I mean, I got shrimp once every 2 weeks.
Yeah, you're not doing that daily.
But shrimp was recommended to me.
The shrimp.
The shrimp was recommended to me because I had low red blood cell count, and that I had to raise the hemoglobin in my blood. And through my diet, that shellfish was going to do that.
Okay, so you're telling me that shrimp and Red Lobster is medically recommended to you?
No,
I would go as far as the shrimp, but where you have it and how much bad things are added to it, I cannot attest for.
All right. So where did you go to get like what? All right. So where did you go
Oh,
to
the
get?
seafood store. It's a shrimp monger, a fish house. I do my own.
I'm talking about a restaurant. Where would you go? I'm talking a restaurant.
Oh, well, usually I would go to like home style Italian, family style restaurants that are,
Right, but it's in better, right? So the
it-
shrimp.
well,
You
you're in
mean to tell me, Greg, you go to places
what's-
where they have fresh ingredients? You mean?
yeah, fresh
Is that where you go?
ingredients.
Is
Well,
that
I'm
where
not.
you're going?
I don't know if Red Lobster's fresh or not, but generally,
I highly
if I
doubt
do
it.
shrimp, they're usually from a fresh source. But generally,
What are the shrimp swimming in? They're not in the ocean now. On your plate, they're usually swimming in some sort of butter or cream sauce or something something that's probably
you
not.
ready? I'm going to defy my own logic. I'm going to say olive oil, and olive oil is a very healthy way to go. I don't put a lot of cheese on it. I actually have to watch really what I eat because of my condition. And I've generally avoided a lot of what you're talking about consciously. When you say it's a fight, when you first started, and that literally, I'll take it out of context, but you were conscious of everything you were putting in your system.
Yes.
One of the things that I had to become of were the heavy things that were associated with these ingredients, and a lot of things that I did went from fried to baked.
Right.
If they're pan seared, I can't drown it in butter. People
No,
I
you
cook
can't.
for want
Right.
that, but I had to find flavors in other locations than than the sauces, unfortunately.
And this is what I'm talking about. That kind of moderation of eating smart. Or if you find yourself in that situation where you're at a restaurant and this is the way that they serve the food and it's ultra rich, you've got to try to make the best choices you can. Maybe moderate your portions, which is what I did, and I think it's about really being vigilant and putting your health first, not yourself first, but your health first. Because if you don't have your health, then what else?
Well, itself really means nothing if the heart's kind of like not in place.
Exactly.
Yep, so,
This is
well,
that's for the holidays. For people, again, when you're saying people shrimp, or you go over your family's house, or where your moms or relatives, they make your favorite things, but they're often not. They may be okay for them, but they're not good for you. And
Right.
so
Right.
you make
yeah, but
this.
for the most part, it's not even okay for them because they didn't have.
But
Yeah.
yes, but that's their own fight. But you've got to deal with your own health and be accountable for your health and make those decisions based on that. And if you're going to be polite, you maybe have a little bit of it, but you can't eat like when you were 16 or or when you were 25 or 35 or maybe even 45, because now you understand if you do have a health issue, if you do have a heart issue, you've got to be careful in very specific ways to make sure that you're eating with respect to that.
Yep. Also,
Well, I
bear in mind-
agree, and not to interrupt Anthony, but
Okay.
one of the things that really changed me around was seeing my numbers, was getting really involved with this thing they have at these hospitals called My Chart, and I
hate to
always
say
ask
it,
anybody,
I love my chart. I really do.
and I live by it because
here.
I have to go by it. And if you see me a little distracted, I got My Chart pulled up right now, and I'm literally trying to find my cholesterol numbers just so I can dial in where I'm at, and where my average numbers fall between. But I understand what you're saying, and I've definitely moved towards fresh ingredients, towards more vegetables, more fruits. One of the things that I've become real conscious on are proteins, and just like the shrimp, where the shrimp's a protein, I've actually moved more into dairy items that have higher protein, less sugars, and literally lower fat, so that I can not gain the weight but gain the benefits of the proteins for my heart health. and my blood pressure's normalized. My blood sugars have normalized. The important things that are going on are all moving in the right direction. And then, getting tested invasively verified that. So I'm definitely going to agree with you. And yes, it is holiday season, and I bake. I love to bake. I bake for others who rave about my cupcakes. I am a cupcake master, and I partake? Yes. Do I eat a dozen cupcakes now? No.
Are you eating half a dozen?
I eat 4 over 4 days.
I think Greg eats just one
a day. I think one a day sounds. How big?
Well, my team would work you to differ. It is. And I'm going to make a confession. I found a custom donut shop that's down here that's only open 4 days a week. And
which is a good thing. You don't want 7 days a week because you'd be there all the time.
I would try and be. He was open today. I didn't make it. We had an earlier appointment, so I couldn't make it out. But
so
what's that?
Do you go every day that the donut shop is open?
No, I go once a week. Okay. But I buy 4 or 5 donuts.
Gotcha. Okay.
And if I send you pictures of these things, you would drive down to where I am in Orange County for them. And I know how far where you are is. And
let's do a little commercial for them since these donuts are so good.
Well, it's Daddy's Donuts in Middletown, New York, and they've had a long-standing history from the owner, whose family name is on another bakery who I don't want to advertise because they slipped. They fell off the wagon. And when I found out about this place being open, I went in there, and the donuts aren't cheap anymore, by the way. And you order donuts from this place and they are fresh filled. They are fresh filled. You want a jelly donut, they're filled fresh. You want a Boston cream, they are filled and coated fresh on the spot. It is the most delicious thing.
On the spot? Like you go in and they fill it for you right then and there.
This is why you will be getting in your car and breaking your health habits. Yes. And what happens is I literally have to take a knife and cut it into 4 or 5 pieces to have one donut. And it's this old school quality. It's these top ingredients. It's just, he makes something called a bow tie. It's 2 donuts twisted into one with this heavy sugar glaze on it. And it's eating like 5-7 fried Zeppelis at once. It is the most delicious thing.
That sounds very gluttonous.
I feel this conversation.
A day and a half to eat one. I'm not going to lie.
I like to circle back to the suggestions that we should make to help keep our heart healthy.
Don't eat it all the time. There's your suggestion.
I like the fact that you're moderating that, but when you came to it's like eating 7.
It is. It's literally. I wish I had one with me. I would show you one if we weren't. The guy closes at 2 p.m. He closes at 2 p.m. I can't even make it there.
Well, we all have our favorite sort of foods that are maybe not good for us as much as they taste good. But I think
that's just the decadence.
Right. You're at least self-moderating and you're aware. You're aware of
100%.
Self-moderating, which
I have a diabetes blood sensor. And I know my sugars all the time. I have my own blood pressure machine, and I'm at a point where I go to the doctors and I can predict within 2% where my blood pressure's at. They go, "How do you know that?" And I'm like, "Well, I've had to learn.
Right.
I've had to learn these things. And now, if you're going to be an advocate for your own health, I strongly suggest that you get tests that can be recorded, monitored, and followed up."
Yeah. Do you ever eat something and then at the cost of eating, kind of realize that your body, like, you don't want to continue. Like, you might want to continue, but you stop because
Yes,
your
it's
health-
Friday night, and I don't want to tell you about my extended decadence on Friday nights.
Actually, I had.
Look, wait, I'm going to bring this up. You're a musician. You play in establishments that will offer food as an
Right.
encouragement of your
French fries,
incentive. So
everything,
you
fried.
know, and well, that's usually where it falls in. Sometimes I get lucky, and you know, they you can offer anything off the menu, or if I even ask, you know, they're gonna, you know, I'm gonna be like, can I get something baked or not deep fried, because they're all aware of my condition. But a lot of times it is fried food.
Sure,
and a lot of times I'll only take 2 or 3 bites, or you know, worse is they give you like a Parmesan with the sauce and the cheese, and you want to eat the whole thing, and you can't. Or you get the burger, and the burger's loaded up with the mushrooms and the onions and the cheese, and believe it or not, one of the worst things is the pickle.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Can I add on to
Because
that?
of the salt.
About a month ago, I had half of a Reuben sandwich, and I felt a little bit of heartburn while I was eating it, and I basically did not finish that sandwich. And I figured, okay, I was with a buddy of mine. We were watching some band play, and I remember taking it with me. And at some point, I was like, all right, just get it to go, bring it home, finish it later. And you know how the Reuben is full of salt and ham and cheese and
sugar,
and
believe it or not.
Oh yeah. So here I have this sandwich, and we're walking around saying hello to people, you know, because I realized I know a lot of people at this place. And at some point, there was a couple that said, "Hey, you know, why don't you leave your food here while you go out there and dance and have fun." So of course, fast forward to the end of the night, I'm in the car with my buddy. He says, "Hey man, you left your meal behind." I go, I think that was supposed to happen. I think I was not supposed to bring that with me, and I don't miss it. Like I
subconsciously, you divested of the rest of your meal.
Yep, I pretty much said I'm leaving that one behind, and unfortunately, I'm giving up on Reuben sandwiches.
Well, these are lessons learned. The last time I played, well, not the last time, but I played over at Rock and Roll. Well, actually, it's called Pro Moon now. And
Pro Moon, good place.
Yes, and I got a chicken over a salad, chicken breast over a salad, and it was delicious, and it was great gig, and it was, but like you said, usually it's the burger or a pound of fries,
chicken fingers.
Yes, and then what I'm going to do now, I'm going to change my habits, because then you get soda, or sometimes I drink some water there, but I'm going to bring my own drinks, because usually the beverages also are problematic.
Are you a beer drinker?
I am not. I don't drink at all.
I'm a beer drinker. I'll admit that, and I'll tell the world I'm a beer drinker. And one of the things that affected me actually were IPAs, because they have a stronger yeast and they have more alcohol in them. And what affected me was the higher alcohol volume, that it literally generated an upset feeling in me. And
or your stomach, digestive, or just
I'd say more. I would say more digestive, but originally it felt like the heart, but then I was told it wasn't. So a lot of times you can't feel what your heart is doing. It's usually some kind of secondary feeling. So when you feel the high blood pressure, it's because you took an intake of salt, and you took an intake of something else, and it came down to that. But at the end of it, it's not really the beer that's bad for you, because in most cases, alcohol would actually lower your blood sugars as opposed to raising it, which is one of the myths that are out there.
I hadn't heard that. I thought that alcohols were full of sugar, and
the fast answer is yes, it is, but it gets digested first. So since it's digested first, it actually creates a crash.
I think that all depends on your food intake for the day.
I think that's true too.
Yes. If you didn't eat a lot, especially a lot of sugars, then yes, that gets digested first. if you were chowing down on Snickers bars and a bunch of other crap prior to having your beer, then the beer gets consumed. The sugars in the beer, the carbohydrates in the beer get digested last.
Okay.
So it's
Dr. Gathers has gave his health tip of the day. I'm gonna issue a news bulletin. I found my cholesterol numbers.
okay.
And
Congratulations.
my total number for cholesterol at the time of this test was 175. Now, I'm underneath. I'm in the green band of acceptability.
I am too. Just recently, I am. But that's the total number. That's not the triglycerides. And there's other
do you know your triglyceride number offhand?
I don't.
Because
I don't think it was
I have the opportunity of reading it right now. Now I'm going to tell you that it's my high number. It is high. It clocked in at a 219, and I am medicated, which is probably why they up my medications. But I'm going to tell you, as the Change of Heart podcast host and resident transplant guru expert, that it was almost 3 times as high at one point.
Whoa.
You mean
that was
3 times prior to your procedure, or just recently?
No, afterwards.
Afterwards.
That my medications had driven my blood cholesterol through the roof. And when my doctor, my number one guy, the guy I would jump in front of a bus for, but he would say, "Don't do that, you'd ruin my work." He put me on the fish oil, and within 3 months, it fell back into the high 190s, low 200s.
Wow.
And that's why I would always recommend fish oil. It's not a generic, like I said. It's something. It's a blend he recommended. It's a blend he prescribes. It's a prescription.
Can you get this is a whole different thing.
This is what I'm trying to explain. That is that everybody jumps in and they go, well, fish oil, I can get that, but there's something in this that is a prescription grade that you might want to talk to your doctor about that. I will let you know what I'm taking, but it crushed the number I was at.
Okay.
Can we jump into what you should actually suggest people eat?
I just want to thank you guys, because again, this information I know is really helping people, because
we're not medical experts, but
no, we're not.
We're definitely experienced patients.
Right. And we're not giving any medical advice, but I think our discussion, our honest discussion about this, hopefully is helping people to understand what you can do. And the takeaways from this is learn your numbers, find out what your numbers are, but also, try to follow as closely as you can the recommendations so that you can stay in good health, and don't let yourself slide or become complacent. So, I would
contribute this. I would also say you got to do your own research. And as Greg would always say, if you're not your own, say the line again, Greg.
If you're not your own advocate, you're your own victim.
Yeah. So.
Yes, great.
Now I'm a big fan. I love fish. In reference to your diet, maybe swap out that ham for salmon. If you do the Thanksgiving and Christmas ham, maybe you might want to have more salmon instead in place of it. Get rid of that processed cranberry sauce and get real cranberry sauce that actually comes from cranberries, not ocean spray, not that. Stuffing, of course, is bread. That's all it is at the end of the day. Either pick up an alternative version or figure out a version that doesn't have as much bread inside of it, so you minimize your carb intake. Also don't fry or cook anything with canola or vegetable oil or sesame oil, avocado oil, olive oil. Those are the primaries that if you want to have good health, olive oil and avocado oil.
Yeah, I'm gonna bake cupcakes with olive oil. Ugh.
Well, that I'm not saying that. Cupcakes is different.
Extra virgin, right? Not just olive oil.
Oh God, the first press. Everything else is a blend.
Yep, extra virgin is really good when it comes down to frying. Everything else you can put into a salad. So
right.
that, and then and then up the ante on if you don't exercise, go for walks. Anything that will help increase your cardio for your heart.
My
'Cause I,
doctor
now,
suggested walking can cure everything except arthritis.
arthritis, exactly. So the funny thing is,
This is great.
like I was taught to do more. So now, let me back up. Now I do less weights, more stretching, and more cardio. So a
Okay.
lot of times I'll mix up. I'll do the weights are not as important anymore because as the doctor said, he goes, "Look, man, you're working out for your heart now. You're not working out for you."
You know what? And I changed that. When I went back into the gym, I spent more time on the, on my aerobic stuff for the first time ever. Cause I love lifting. I love bench pressing, and I wanted to be in the headspace that when I went back, like I was going to say, well, how strong am I, today? And I really wanted to go to the bench. I really just wanted to see, what my shoulder would bear, if you will.
Mhm.
But I fought that impulse. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do
You were fighting the impulse to bench what 100 pounds, 50.
100 pounds. I benched two plates on each side is whatever that
245s on each side. It's 90 pounds plus a 45.
And the bar is
45
what?
pound plate. It's 135.
45.
Bar's 35, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, the bar's 45, and then your weights are 245. So that's 135.
It's 235.
No, it's not. Not if you do. Not if no, it's not.
In
What kind of math
metric,
is that?
what's what?
Where are you getting that from? Oh,
Metrics. Do the math. One bar on one side is 45 pounds. One plate
Is
is another
90.
is 90.
no, two
And then you
plates
have-
on each side.
Oh,
45.
two plates.
Come
So
on.
you're doing what? 235?
It's 225.
Yes.
All right. This is going to need a whole other show called Guess My Weight.
That's my weight.
But
How
I'm
much am I
saying-
lifting?
And last time I was in the gym, I had 8 reps at 225, and I wanted to come back to see where I was, but I said, okay, I'm not going to because I'm just getting back in. And like you said, I was cognizant of the fact that I'm really here for the
Sure.
cardio. And I'm not really here. Like all the other stuff is just vanity stuff. It's just like, I want to stay strong. I want to be whatever. But I really devoted more time, much more, more time, 60%, 65% cardio than I did just strength training, if you will.
Someone asked me recently, they said, do I still spar with the whole martial arts stuff? And I said, well, that all depends how you look at it. He said, what do you mean? I don't want someone accidentally punching me in the chest. So,
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
that's my thing. I think in terms of someone just give me one good hit, like right in the chest there, I'm like, man, I'm going to take a break from that one. This is apropos to what you were talking about earlier about going to the gym and see if you can do certain things. You can't do those anymore. You got to make certain lifestyle changes to accommodate that.
Exactly. You can't do what you used to do or what you want to do. You should be doing now what you have to do primarily, and then what you want to do secondarily. Now, on my program, we are winding up. So, and we're still going to go a little longer on your program. But I just want to tell
I'm tired of hearing your mouth. We're gonna
Thank you. We want to thank Anthony Kenners and Greg for being on today and really talking about and sharing their personal experiences with their health challenges and with heart. And if you're a man or woman, you be any age, but especially if you're probably over 50, a lot of what we're saying is very relevant to you. And again, you check your doctor, go to your doctor for any sort of specific changes in your routine or your health. But we're just sharing our experiences and helping that people find the strength. Because it is, find the strength to curb to maintain your healthy habits over the holidays. So with that, we're going to go back, but that's only on my show. Well, I'm going to take a break, and we'll be back after this song, and that's that. But I'm still here with on Change of Heart.
My new thing is fresh pressed apple cider. And
That's my
now,
beverage.
I'm gonna consciously tell you to Google it and check out the benefits of drinking fresh pressed apple cider. Is they always talk about apple cider vinegar, but I haven't put it down.
Well, I also heard that apple cider vinegar is good for your cholesterol numbers too.
Well, it is, but I get it before it's vinegar.
So it's potent. I think when it's vinegar, it's more potent.
Yeah, I don't need that. I like the sweet stuff. I love it straight off the tree, and it's just one of the things that it's become an indulgence, but it has benefits.
Well, and that's that for me. Again, I've given up the soda for 95%.
Yes,
less I'm out, but that's what I'll drink. I'll drink apple cider vinegar or water. But
if you're gonna drink soda,
I do seltzers.
Actually
sparkling water, because it has sparkling water. I don't do seltzer anymore. Actually, sparkling water.
Sugar, cane sugar. Don't do high fructose corn syrup.
No, I haven't. Well, I haven't. I've dropped 25 pounds because I've dropped the corn syrup, unless I'm making a pecan pie, but that's few and far between.
Yeah, it's important. We should have talked about that. I mentioned that on my segment because dropping the high fructose corn syrup is essential. I mean, even if you have heart problems or not, and that's really something you have to eliminate. And it's hard. It's hard, especially with beverages. If you don't really look, you're going to be drinking it. If it doesn't specifically say it doesn't have it, then it does.
The problem with the cane sugar version is it is 5 times the rocket fuel of corn syrup, and it'll send your heart rate and your diabetes into another atmosphere.
Oh, wow.
Big time.
I love it. Oh my God. It unfortunately it's not a domestic product, and
it's not.
But once you try it, you get that original taste of when you were a kid, and all the recall comes back. And if I do have one of those, it would probably be once every 6 months at this point.
Wow. Mm-hmm. All right, Randall, we're gonna say goodbye to your funky butt.
Oh, by the way, we're gonna put up a before picture to see how the old Randall looked, and the new Randall is lean, mean, and quite dapper.
If you have a before and after,
we do. We have a whole interview.
Right, that's right. Yes.
I'll definitely send it. Now, one other thing, I'm thinking about changing out a meal, replacing a meal with like a plant protein shake.
It's a good idea. Now, what I'm going to suggest is do not stress over the volume size of the shake.
True indeed. I agree.
Don't cut yourself short. Fill yourself up.
I agree. Right. Yeah, I agree with that.
Because one of the things is people want to substitute, but then they cut their portions.
No,
I'm not a portion cutter.
Yeah.
No. If anything, I would say this.
Only healthy meal.
Like, for example, I use the Orgain plant-based protein. So
I'm using KOS, KOS.
I know the brand. Yep. Yeah. So, but I put that everywhere. I put that in oatmeal. I put it in yogurt. So, yep. I actually mix it. Like, you don't have to necessarily get locked into always having it as a shake.
Super quick good. Fact: non-fat cottage cheese has double the protein of yogurt.
Well, it does. But I also don't want the dairy.
Yeah,
that's my issues like that. I just don't want the dairy.
I have to make these choices and these life critical podcast host endeavors.
Yep.
Randall. We can experiment and report back to the audience. Like, I think that we should have a best foods, worst foods. Like, in addition to what the important things that you guys are talking about.
We all know.
Right, I'm going to Daddy's Donuts, and I'm going to research this.
Exactly.
And when you go to Daddy's Donuts, we have our next episode. Bring some on the air. So you can see the quality of those donuts.
We need footage. We need footage of you eating, and in the moment
Yep.
I will do a cameo with Daddy. He will give us 5 minutes and a commercial. Trust me.
Awesome.
He's a talker.
Awesome.
He doesn't leave.
Gentlemen, this has been
Randall, honor and a pleasure always.
Always a pleasure.
Same as well.
Thank you. Thank you for coming back, and you're always welcome. And I like the updates, and I like your progress. And bring your numbers.
You're not 5'10".
Well, I will. I'm gonna. We all. You, Anthony, too. I want you to have your portal open. I was trying to open my portal during the show, but thank you, and to all your Change of Heart listeners and supporters and sponsors coming on, because this is important stuff. This may be the most important podcast that people listen to, because there's a lot of other stuff is entertainment value, but this is real people talking about real
First-hand experiences.
Your
Right.
real life.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, dude.
All right. Bye for now.